Welcome back to Horns High Studios for another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder. That means each one of these videos is less than 666 seconds or 11 minutes and 6 seconds. I'm doing a video for the first time with my new setup here, new camera. So let me know down below if you like this better than the way you saw me before. All right, here we go. This time we're talking about the DELPHI case, and this is a very fascinating case to me, so I'm anxious to talk about this. But remember, with all my videos, these are for informational purposes only. These are just my opinions and speculations. Everything's allegedly, and we're just talking about a case that interests me and interests you as well. That's all. Now, I have to give credit where credit is due here with the information that I found that was part of putting this together. True Crime Design, the channel here on YouTube, has done some really great work in the exploration of that DELPHI case from 2017 against Abby and Libby. I have done other videos on DELPHI. And the theory that I'm going to present in this video does not mean that I don't think the Odinists didn't play a role in this. I'm really just not sure how this all connects, but I do feel there is some connection. You'll have to see what you think. Now, Shane Evans is a local Delphi guy who went off to college and then law school and then ran for mayor and won in 2015. Very young, if not the youngest mayor in the state history. He was the mayor of Delphi until 2020 when he resigned to take the job as the deputy prosecutor there in Carroll County. Now he works for prosecutor Nick McClelland, and I believe that Shane Evans belongs to the same Masonic lodge as Nick McClelland, but I'm not 100% sure of that. So what is it that makes me wonder if he had something to do with these 2017 crimes? There are quite a few odd coincidences that do make me wonder. I'm not the only one. I mean, check that True Crime Design channel. I'm going to link to their playlist down below. She's got a good one on Shane Evans, multiple videos about this. Now, if you watch the February 22nd of 2017 press conference that was done only 8 days after the crimes, Shane looks very suspicious when law enforcement play the infamous Down the Hill audio that was apparently recorded on one of the victims' phone. Now, he's sweating profusely. His eyes look like they're watering and darting back and forth. Very, very odd. I mean, it's really strange. And I mean, I guess he could have gotten a bad burrito at Taco Bell, but I don't know. It just seems very odd. Now, when you look at the bridge guy video that was captured on one of the victims' phone, the way the bridge guy walks has a very similar odd gait to Shane Evans. And they claim, the law enforcement claims, to have more video than what they're showing. So it does make you wonder, why don't you just show everybody the whole video? Why only show a little snippet? And I certainly have to wonder, is it because the gait makes it that much more obvious that it could be Shane Evans? I don't know, but it does make me wonder why they don't let us just see it all. I believe it could be, Shane Evans. He also puts his hands in his pockets like constantly. In the bridge guy video, he's got his hands in his pockets, which seems a little weird walking on that bridge. So it'd have to be somebody, in my opinion, that does that a lot. It's not just a happenstance. It's just the way he walks. You have to watch it. Now, True Crime Design tried to get a copy of the town council minutes and the video from their meeting on February 13th of 2017. And that would have been the day of the incident that happened with those two girls. Now, that's the only month that's not available on their website. The only month is that month those minutes, that video, gone. And she actually talks to Shane Evans in one of the videos on her channel, and he just basically says, I really don't know what happened. Gives her kind of a non-answer, and that's that. Now, if he was involved in this, he would have been pretty busy at that time probably the meeting was going on, because this could have gone into the night, and the way they searched and stopped at midnight, they would have been right in this area. And so the bodies, they believe, were moved after midnight when the search ended, because they were found the following morning. So he would have been, if he was involved in this, he would have been out till all hours of the night. So was he there? Is that why those minutes and that video is not available? Makes you wonder. Now, adding to the strange coincidences here, the most likely access to the property would have been the Masonic Cemetery, if you're going to get a vehicle in there. So the victims could have been abducted, put in a vehicle, driven off-site. There's a few different options I've seen of where they may have taken them, and then did whatever they did, and then after midnight came back in through the Masonic Cemetery, put the bodies on the property of Ron Logan, which is an interesting reason possibly why that was the case. Ron Logan was an early person of interest with the web sleuths out there. I'm not sure if he was officially a person of interest with law enforcement, but he was an ex-con, and he owned a very large piece of property right there by that Monon High Bridge where those girls were abducted. Now, True Crime Design mentioned that a possible motive could have been that Delphi was looking to get a grant for a big, upgrade of the bridge, fixing the bridge and all these trails and all this stuff that they had going on. And that Ron Logan's property was a very large piece of property that would have been very helpful for them if they wanted to do this expansion. So she posed that possibly a motive could have been to frame Ron Logan, and then of course he would have been, taken away, and then maybe they would have had, better chance to get a hold of that property from, family or whoever would have taken it over. I just don't know, but I did find that an interesting question of why they chose his property to put the bodies. Now, law enforcement said from the beginning that whoever did this would have needed to know that area pretty well, and obviously Shane Evans would have known that area very well. But one thing I did wonder was, what about eyewitnesses? I mean, nobody said that they saw the mayor out there on the bridge that day, but, if he had facial hair and the bridge guy did have a hat on, that possibly, that could have been the reason why they didn't recognize him, but hard to say. Now, Shane Evans did accomplish a lot of things in Delphi, but he did have enemies. He wanted to enforce building codes and do a lot of revitalization of their downtown and all of that, which would have meant building owners would have had to sink some money into these properties. And obviously, you're going to get some people not wanting to do that. So the town has got a lot of money coming in from investors and people wanting to grow the town. They were putting in subdivisions, a lot of things going on, a lot of money changing hands. And we all know money talks. So, there's a lot of, questions of maybe what was going on there. Many of the lower income families were getting angry because their property taxes were going up so high they couldn't afford to live there anymore. And this gentrification upset a lot of people. And, there were some people, of course, that liked it, but there were some that did not. So if you follow the Delphi case and you're aware of the horrible story of the Flora 4, which was a house fire in nearby Flora, Indiana, where 4 little girls lost their lives. Now, that fire was investigated and found to be intentionally set, and that was only 3 months before the Delphi case. And I'm planning on doing a video on the Flora 4 because some people do think these two crimes are connected. And I'm certainly not saying that Shane Evans is involved in these crimes. I'm only speculating and offering my opinion. But when I first heard it on True Crime Design, there's a lot of things that make you wonder. And I have seen a couple of other channels do stuff on it, but honestly, True Crime Design did the most. So I'm weighing in on what I think about this. The fact that he works in the Carroll County Prosecutor's Office really makes any investigation against him unlikely, especially since they've got Rick Allen behind bars waiting trial. As you know, there's plenty of questionable things in this case with law enforcement, the judge, and all sorts of things. So this just adds to that. How many strange coincidences does there need to be before a real investigation is done here? And unfortunately, it reminds me a lot of Idaho. Those with money and connections seem to get a pass, while the less fortunate, like Rick Allen and Brian Kohberger, seem to take the brunt if it doesn't seem, anybody else is getting anything even close to what those two are getting. So let me know down below what you guys think. Does Shane Evans deserve a closer look in this case? I do want to say thank you to the Horns High Club. You guys are awesome. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate all of you that watch these videos. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you next time in Horns High Studios for another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder.